for reality. Our thoughts are not fiction. No one gets an opinion on the topics that we mention with the Holy Ghost boldness. God's in control of this. Real talk with real men for purpose and focus. Growth to get better. See, man up, we better. To change for the better. The future getting better. True men of God, leading, going hard. It's time to level up with the Man Up Squad. Now man up. You got this. M-A-N-U-P. Man up. Now man up. M-A-N-U-P. Now man up.
We are live, guys, on the air. Amen. We just came out of an incredible service, and we thank God for what God is doing at Victorious Ministries today. Thank you all for being here and being a part. Take some time to share this. We're going to look for your comments and your response. Pastor Marcus is going to support that effort. So any questions that you have right now, not right now because we ain't start nothing, but when we start and you have any questions, we can bring the questions in and we'll begin to share and support you on Facebook. I know we're on both stations, but we're doing the questions from Facebook only. So go to Facebook if you have any questions you want to ask the panel concerning the question portrayal, where we are, how did it happen, what did happen, how did we handle it, and I want to talk about how to handle portrayal first. The Bible speaks about Jesus being betrayed in the garden. When he said, Lord, take this cup from me. But nevertheless, he was betrayed in Calvary when they beat him. His whole scenario of getting to who he was, it's amazing. His whole scenario of getting to it, the worstest pain in his life that made the greatest blessing, had to start from betrayal. As Judas began to sell him, he said, the one that I kiss will be the one. That tells me something. All betrayal doesn't end up bad. Mm-hmm. It comes out all right at the end. It has purpose to it. Y'all today. That's me, I'm sorry. Y'all today, what experiences that you had in betrayal that came out better for you?
One, for me, when I was younger, doing music, and I got introduced to this audition, and the guy took us to the audition. That he said he was our manager, took us to an audition, and we made the audition, and we started getting paid. We was doing this play around all Baltimore City public schools. Got paid for the play, and the guy who introduced us, because he said he was our manager, and we were naive at the time, said every time you guys get paid, right, you have to give me $180 or $280 just for him finding the play, and we went with that, right? Because in our mind, this our manager, he gonna take us somewhere. He found us the play, then he took us all the way out to a bank. I was living in the projects, didn't drive. He took us to a bank in Old Court. So to me, that's pretty far, right? Now it's like nowhere. I'm like, this is the bank he took us to, and he opened up an account. You know, and we giving him the money, and he was robbing us. But the good thing that came out of it for me, learning that, my partner at the time said, I ain't giving him no more money. And he stood his ground, and it broke the guy. You know what I mean? It broke the guy, so then we stopped giving the money. But what it taught me today is, you know, make sure that we treat people right.
What's the lesson that you get through, that's the lesson to all things, I believe. But what's the lesson you get in being betrayed or being one that betrays someone else?
Well, I got a valuable lesson of being betrayed. I learned characteristics. I learned a character of a person that betrays. And then I learned to protect myself so I won't be in that position again. And betraying a person let me know my own character. And then once I saw the damage that I've done and realized in my betrayal that I was receiving was probably payback for what I have done to somebody else, I realized that that's not a characteristic that I want to have myself.
So even in this system, the world today is computers, electronics, social media. So many people are grabbing other people's information to portray someone else, to scam them for money. Have anybody experienced that or seen, I know I've experienced people calling me saying RS and they're gonna come do this and come get my cat. I said, I don't own a cat, come on and get him. Unless I give some money right away. That's an act of portray, scamming. Is that an act of portraying to you?
Yeah, I mean, I actually was at work one day, sitting at my desk, and I work in finance, and I got an email from the person that was claiming to be the CEO of the company, and asked me, was I at work that day? Was I in the office? This a couple years ago. Said yes. I need he needed an ACH payment or like a wire transfer. And so when I first saw it, the email looked legit. It was his name, and I'm just like, what? Why are you asking me? Like, I'm not even, at that level. And as I began to respond, and he responded back, I just had to stop and be like, hold on. I don't even work in a department where I'm in finance, but I don't handle banking or anything like that. And why would he come to me? He don't know my name personally. So I wasn't a victim because I ended up catching, figuring out what the person was trying to do and digging into it a little bit more. But people have become really, really creative with the scamming and figuring out email addresses or betraying to be somebody they're not, and CEO. And for a second, you're thinking like, this is important. This is the CEO. I have to do this. Like, my job depends on it. But yeah, it happens.
I think that you shouldn't give, especially when people text you and begin to say they're someone you know. I think you shouldn't give $1 to anyone if they can't call you. I think that should be a standard up front. Every emergency, I got an emergency. Can you wire me? Can you cash at me? Can you, send me some money? This is brother so-and-so. I think even if you get a response in a text or email like that, the first thing you need to say is, call me. And if they don't have your number, then guess what? You just saved yourself some money that you didn't give it. I think that you need to, and then when they call you and you still ain't sure, say FaceTime me. Or I'm gonna because I wanna see the picture, the person's face, because the person I know, in relationship that I know, that's when the scam, even in our ministry, people have called people and try to scam people by calling them and saying, this is brother so-and-so, can I borrow $20? And your compassion and love for that person automatically thinks you need I'm gonna be a hero, because that's one thing about ministry, it makes you think right away, let's be a hero, and then you realize you was not a hero, you was scammed, and now who's gonna pay you back? No one. So I think that, really the best thing to do is have a moral right now or standard right now that says anything that deals with me investing money in anyone, it will not be by text, it will not be by email, it will be by verbal conversation, and 90% of the time it must be me seeing who you are. That way I can secure myself. And I want to talk to all of y'all that go to Victorious Ministry. If anybody ever offer you or asks you for to give any money and they can't visibly show who they are and you can't verify who this person is, don't send them anything. I tell you what, the next time someone calls you or say, send me, can I borrow 400? You say, sure, send me $20 first, and then I'll send you $420 back, and don't send them nothing. Don't send them nothing. If they were bold enough to ask you without confronting you, I get texts all the time, Pastor, I hate to bother you. You don't hate to bother me. You just don't want to confess. You don't want to see me. Dang. Can I borrow? No, I've learned to ignore it, because the integrity, you should have enough integrity to be able to confront me with your issue, not text me to your issue. So that's so important. How many feel that, let's talk to the black team concerning that.
I think that betrayal is definitely something that you experience. And I know originally, we were saying like, what do you get from it, or how do you, combat it or come from it? But it's all in the lesson that it teaches you. Like you mentioned, it could teach you something, but you have to be willing to learn from it, because sometimes it will reveal things about you, even though you can be a victim. You can be a victim that learns from a situation, as well as it becomes something that shows you something about the person that's involved. Because betrayal generally hurts, because it's not betrayal if you're not close enough for me to feel that you are the type of person that could harm me with your decision. Some people are going to do stuff you don't like, and it's just going to be like, oh, well, you weren't that important for it to be something that bothers me or harms me. But you have to be close in order for it to be betrayal. And so that's the part that makes it difficult because, you know, you are close enough to harm me. You were close enough to have personal information or personal access to me, and what you chose to do was different. And then, you know, you got two flips to the coin because I've been a betrayer before. So I've betrayed before, and then in that process of betraying, you also have to be on the other side of that you weren't a victim, but you're the one who caused the situation or you caused the harm to someone else. So, you know, it's all about what you take from it, the lesson that you can get from it.
Yeah, and all betrayal is not cheating in a relationship. That's so important to understand. This is an excellent time. If you want to ask any questions concerning betrayal, go to Facebook and put your question in, and we'll start in the next 2 minutes reading any question that you have. If you've already put the question in, because of the way the timeline goes up, repeat the question now, and we'll make sure that we'll get the thing, we'll consider that. How do you handle people, especially people in your family that betrayed you?
All right. Well, as a matter of fact, when I talked about it before about betrayal and about exposing the characteristics of a person, betrayal, it takes maturity and it can go into forgiveness. You know, if somebody that's close to you cuts so deep as to betray, then it's a hurt. That's a deep hurt. That's a wound. But now you gotta, if you are willing to, mend it. You know, so then it takes a maturity level of forgiveness to mend that. So you had to not lay that up for that person's charge and say, okay, you may betray me for a moment or because of a situation or circumstance. So I'm not going to lay that up to you and keep it there. And I'm going to forgive you, and now we got a door that's back open. Just don't do it again.
I think it all depends on the circumstance. I don't think everything needs to be mended. There's some things that people have betrayed you, and you need to realize that you had no business, or they had no business being in your life in that capacity, and you just got to move on. You know, even with family members that you stay, sometimes you get scammed by your own family members, and you got to have a standard to say, it's not. It can't be like, well, you got me, now seeking you get me again. You know, you got to. You don't. The Bible says turn the other cheek, but it also didn't say stay there to get slapped again. Right. You gotta remove yourself. I've learned levels of growth and wealth will create people to portray you out of your wealth, not knowing that. The reason why God gives you more wealth, watch this, because you got more responsibilities. And people don't see your responsibility. All they see is that you started where they are and you're doing this, and you ought to hook a brother up, and they will scam you. They will say their dog is dying and they got to take him to the hospital, and it has nothing like that. I don't think that's fair. The saddest part is when you're being betrayed or betrayed by your own children, when they lie to take from you. Y'all got younger children, but the lies of, stealing something out of the kitchen when they could really ask for it and then say they didn't do it, that's a betrayal. That hurts. They don't see the impact of that it's training them to be a scammer. All right, do you have any questions? They're training them to scam or to make people not be connected to them. So where y'all see it concerning in that area?
That's true. Like I said, it's one of the most hurtful betrayals you can to have your child steal from you or lie to you, because it's something, just like you said, it's something simple like stealing a drink out of the refrigerator. Bruh, we put it in the refrigerator for everybody, but all you have to do is ask for it.
Yes.
It's not like I'm going to deny you to get something to drink. unless you've been drinking up everything all
Do you
week.
think every betrayal needs a penalty?
No. Now, we set a standard about lying. I can understand being betrayed by something, you took something. But guess what? If you took it, and I say, did you take it? And you say, yeah, I took it, then fine. You betrayed my trust and you taking something that doesn't belong to you. But if you're going to stand in front of my face and lie about it, after I know you did it, then, that has to have a penalty to it.
Yeah, the penalty is that you weren't mature man enough or boy enough or girl enough to be honest or to share your condition. I did it because of this. I think that that's a challenge. Pastor Marcus, you got a question?
Yeah, one of the questions was, why does it hurt so much when you have to deal with betrayal because of trust?
Because trust deals with your heart. Trust is an investment that you put in people. Trust is something you give to someone before they prove it. So the damage is I've put so much into you. I think that we need to learn to have value with our thoughts and our feelings. That way you can understand how much to put in something. When we don't have value, so the trust damages you because your expectations of what is going to happen don't come out right. But that's when you have to overcome. See, Jesus had a lot of trust in us. For God so loved the world, God had loved that he gave his only forgotten son, that whoever believes should not perish, but have life. God did not send his son into the world to condemn us, but through him might be saved. He put a lot of trust that we will turn towards him. A lot of us have not. So there's a damage in that. There's a pain in that. That pain creates adjustments. But those adjustments, watch this, if you're permanently connected, those adjustments should not have to be permanent. Okay? So that's so important that we identify that. Anybody else got anything they want to say concerning it?
Yeah, I think that the trust factor is hard because trust takes years to build and seconds to break. And once it's broken, it can take a long time to get back to that place of trust.
Especially when it's someone you love. That's with someone you love. And I think that I think it's unfair to see people's character change to the positive way and still treat them like you don't trust them.
Right.
I think that's unfair. But I think when their character has not changed, then you still can't trust. You can't be going into about Junior because Junior say he's sorry that you're now going to leave your pocketbook on the table because Junior going to take that $20. Junior going to go after that $20. He going to steal. Those habits creates future problems.
Yep.
That's why when we were coming up, our parents used to beat us for taking stuff because they knew those habits can create future problems. You see what I'm saying? Most of us, we got the Oprah Winfrey thing, time out. I ain't never had a timeout. The timeout was cooling down for me, But those habits, I think that those correction created direction. You see what I'm saying? Now we live in the world today that any type of correction is called abuse. When the person has already abused you by their action. So we've established it as abuse. And that because of that, then that child or that person keeps repeating the cycle because the price is affordable.
It's the crazy thing when you was talking about the correction, that it's crazy. It's like once you correct though, it's almost like I know with kids, it's almost like they go back to reset. They go back to almost like, okay, so this is my son, this is my daughter. They're like super respectful. It's like after the correction, it's almost like they get back to where now we can teach, now we can train up, because it's almost like you corrected all the the residue off of them. Now you kind of got like a blank sheet and they act different. They just act
Well, you
better.
gotta know the character of the person, because a good scammer always have a gentle spirit. So, you got to know the character of the person. If you don't know the character of the person, they will apologize, cry, and say they're sorry, and scam you again. Because a good scammer has a gentle spirit. I remember one time somebody stole something, and the person that stole went help looking for it. Because a good scammer has a gentle spirit. Hey, man, you got a question, Pastor Mark?
Yes. What do you do when you are betrayed but the assignment isn't done yet?
Well, you do what Jesus did. You complete the assignment. But you complete it with the understanding that the person that betrayed you don't know the value of who you are. When you talk about assignments, like most of us have worked on the workplace where we've been betrayed. Somebody scammed us, somebody lied on us, somebody said something that wasn't true. You don't quit your job. You adjust how you handle the people that you assumed did it. You're talking about, I'm gonna fight tonight. I'm gonna not when you lose, not when you're making $100,000 a year. You ain't fighting nobody. You're gonna try to figure this thing out because I ain't losing my job for your stupidity. So you have to stay on assignment. You have to give them. See, the value of the assignment is the information. I think sometimes we think every assignment have to have a connection. And you don't have the connection. You don't have to. Because assignments, people leave. We just had a total gun training here. And Derek was assigned to prepare people to learn how to shoot a gun and all the things to test. But when the test is over with, Derek's assignment is over with. He don't have to now go out. When you gonna go to the gun range? Well, let's hang out. That's too much. We put too much in it, and that makes us more damaging because their journey can scam us. Very good. Their journey where they're going can scam us. So I would say this, and you said something earlier. I would say it's more valuable when you're dealing with people is to guard your heart before you give your heart. Because when your heart is involved, you get scammed every day. That's why your children still live in your house and still doing the same mess, and they still got a whole bedroom. They still go downstairs and got a plate and food on the table. It's because your heart is involved. And I've learned something. When someone scams you and don't value your heart, they will hurt you again. Yes. So the question you should ask anyone, especially your children, the question you should ask your children is, do you really care about my heart? Because if you value my heart, there's a lot of things you would never do. My mother went on to be with the Lord, and because she went on to be with the Lord, and I value her heart, I still hold the standard of the things she don't like. I still hold the standard because it's because of my heart. So most people that scam you are selfish because they don't value their heart. They don't value your heart. But when a person values, most men, I've seen people change because at a funeral they change their whole life because the person that's in the casket, they for the first time they value how that person felt and they stop drinking. They value how that person felt and they stop stealing. The sad part is that person can't see how much they changed. That's the sad part. So I said something good all day long. It's about time. About time I got to. So when your child is going through that period of stealing and lying, it's because they don't value their sisters. They don't value their brothers. They don't value them. And they have never took the time to say, why have not put my family in my heart? That's so important. Joseph's father was an excellent example. Joseph had a dream, and the brothers hated him and scammed him, but the father put his dream in his heart. See, when you put a person's dream in their heart, even if you don't believe in it, you will never want to harm them. You will never want to harm them. So when you have a husband that keeps going back and doing the same crap, to scam you out of your love, you're playing with your love, it's because he doesn't have you in his heart. He has not put who you are in your heart. Because when something's in your heart, you always care about how they feel. So I've learned you can love me and not have me in your heart. You can love me and not have me in your heart at all. You can serve me and not have me in your heart. Because when it comes time for you to do what's right, you'll do what's right for you and not right for us. See, the value of, we all men, and all of us have children. The vert is still out on you, but we all have children. Just mess with you. The most hardest thing, or the most hurtful thing, is our children damaging our name, because our name is our reputation. No one wants to go to the school and talk to a teacher to tell you about your name. Your name stole. Your name lied. Your name is nasty. Your name is fornicating. Your name is fondling with other children or whatever. No one wants to hear that about their name. So you leave the school in shame, not just at your son, but he destroyed your name. Because he doesn't have you, he doesn't have your name in his heart. That's the most valuable thing. It's like you got to value the name. I said something about that today. That's why it's so strong, of who you are. Right. And especially if you're a junior. You a junior and don't value my name? Do you know that as you grow up scamming, that your scam can intertwine with my integrity? Because you carry my name. That's important.
And on top of that, you can't repair your name. So if my son is in a school cutting up and now Burton is jacked up in school, I can't go in that school and repair my name. I can't go in there and get good grades. I can't go in there and be kind to kids. Now you have to do that. You have to go back there and build that name back up.
Or you got to go home and build his tail to build your name back up.
It was probably bad too if you talk about, like, let's say it's DeMarco, then when his brothers come up, they're like, oh, we got another Burton boy, and already have this expectation that
Of negative. That's what I'm saying. It's so important that the integrity of your name stays pure. See, let me tell you something. There's not one friend your child has that will value your name. And if they don't have the self-valuation within themselves, then their friends will lead them away from your name. Not knowing that it's your name. At the funeral, you are honoring the person dying because of their name to you. Because that name gets you the inheritance. The name gets you inheritance. His legacy is his inheritance. And no friend is worth, I'm telling you, I thank God I grew up and was smart enough to realize that there's no friend valuable enough to take my name from me. To take my family's name. See, you don't want my grandmother and my mother and them built a legacy. They built a legacy. And all their legacy was not wealth, but it was a standard they had around people. When I come in, I have to support that legacy because that legacy represents my name. That legacy is the thing that opens doors for me. I need to support that legacy. But if you don't value that legacy, if you don't put that legacy in your heart, anybody that comes up with an idea that makes you satisfy you first, you're going to do it. True. You're going to do it. When you get married, y'all got all y'all little married shirts on. You're marrying, do you know that woman is marrying a name?
Yep, that's right.
And you cheat on her, or she cheat on you, you damage the name. The name is damaged. It's unclean until there's a reconcile. And when it's reconciled, then you purify the name again. Even if you cheat and they don't know it. If you don't reconcile, the name is damaged.
Wow.
So that's the second powerful I got. I'm doing good in the last 45 minutes of the thing. Seconds. So you got to understand, the scam is not the part. The part is, the damaging part is that, who do you represent when you scammed? When you cheated, who did you represent? Because you couldn't have represented me, but I'm going to be the one to take the hit. Because you scammed, you damaged my name. And all of us on this panel must understand, more than the house, the car, and your bank account, all we want to leave left is a clean name. We want to erase everything we've done right so our children can have a good name. And I ain't letting nobody tear my I'm trying to get, I got 4 seconds. I just been saved by the bell. I want you to understand, our time is up. We love you. God bless you. Save your name. Bye-bye.